Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Divine Dance All Star Apparel. I take it that if you're visiting my YouTube channel, that you are inquiring on how to make um, majorette uniforms, specifically hip hop majorette uniforms. If you are interested in designing traditional majorette uniforms, then unfortunately this is not the channel for you. However, I do think it's still a great idea for you to watch because you never know what tips you may be able to pick up. Now, first, I want to start off with the do's and don'ts. Before you even begin designing, before you even begin um, making your uniforms, you want to make sure that you find the right materials because it's very important. Of course, the main material is finding the right uniform. Most dance costumes come from online dance stores such as Discount Dance and such as Dancewear Solutions. And this is not a sponsored YouTube video. However, I just wanted to give you guys those two websites in case you are wondering where to look. But you also can try Amazon, Walmart, in store or online. You could also go to your local dance store in your area. And the main thing you want to look for is quality material. You don't want anything really cheap, but I understand that if you are making your own uniforms, you want to be cost effective. So keep that in mind when you're looking for your uniform. Today, I'm going to show you guys how to make a two-piece crop top and bottom, which is a brief, and the material that I'm using is a metallic material, so it's different from cotton or lycra or spandex or nylon. So it's a little more softer and a little more sleek than those other materials that I mentioned. So I've already mentioned about the quality of the uniform. Also, when you're sizing your dancers, make sure that you take measurements of the bust, of the waist, of the hips, and the girth, because you want to make sure that the uniform actually fits. Because when you're adding fringe and sequin and so forth, sometimes the uniform can fit a little tighter. And so if you have a dancer that's in between, let's say, a small and medium, I would go ahead and get the medium just to be on the safe side rather than to get the small and it's too small and then the materials come apart. Because typically most hip-hop majorette designers use glue, hot glue. I specifically use Gorilla Glue, but I'm going to get into more details about that a little bit later. Alright, the next thing you would need is to take your time. Don't rush. I know sometimes you can get very excited because it's a new project and a new experience. So just take your time and be careful as well, because when you're dealing with a hot glue gun, you can really hurt yourself, and you can burn yourself, you can burn skin off. I've had that to happen to me numerous occasions, and so I had to learn how to manage and work with a hot glue gun. And I would suggest getting a all temperature hot glue gun. I have the type of glue gun that I use in my video that I will show in just a moment. Alright, the next thing is to try and draw a sketch. Now, some of you may thinking that, hey, I am not a really great artist, I can't really draw. Just do the best that you can. I can show a visual of a sketch that I have done in the past in the video as well. Don't think too much about it. Just try to draw inspirations from other designs that you may have seen. It's tons of ideas online, but you want to be careful that you don't copy to the exact T because you're not sure if that designer has copyrights. And the next thing is make sure that you have quality scissors. And I already stated about the glue gun, and I've already talked about the uniform. The reason why it's great to have quality scissors, is because you're going to be doing a lot of cutting. So you want to make sure that you don't have any cheap scissors like construction paper scissors or hair scissors. You want to make sure you get fabric scissors. You can get those from Walmart or your local craft store for a really good price, anywhere between like $10 and $20, and those tend to last for a long time. Now we're gonna go ahead and get into designing the uniform. I just gave you some specifics on what to do and what not to do before you start. Now first, you're gonna need a pair of scissors, as I stated before. You're gonna also need some pins, some push pins that you can add the sequin and fringe to and hold them in place. Those are really important. I already have like a stick pin cushion. And then you're gonna need your hot glue gun. You're gonna also need some glue sticks, as I said before, Gorilla hot glue sticks. I use the full size, and they're like 40 seconds of work time. You also need some nice fringe. I use 6-inch fringe that I got off of Amazon. It's really nice. It's called chainette fringe, so make sure that you get the right type of fringe. And then you're going to need some stretch sequin, not the regular sequin, stretch sequin. This size is 7/8, so it's 2 strand, as you can see here. And then I also have some scraps left over from our previous project. I have 1 inch, I believe, or 1.5 inch. I think it's 1 inch, and it's 3 strand. I also have a piece of fabric to place my hot glue gun on so that glue won't drip onto my table, but thankfully this is my craft table. And I have some old t-shirts that I'm going to use to fill the uniform with, because it's important to stretch out your material. And then here is my briefs that I have. I have a youth medium, and I also have a youth medium in the top as well. I'm going to show you in just a second. And it's a long sleeve turtleneck, and it zips up in the back, so you have to be careful when designing this type of uniform. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on pinning everything in place. So hopefully my angle isn't too crazy. I zoomed out a little bit so that you guys can see what I'm doing. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and fill the briefs with the t-shirt. You're gonna roll them up and stretch out that material, because stretching it out is as though you're fitting it on the dancer, because sometimes you're not able to put the uniform on the dancer and pin everything in place. So this helps compensate for that. So you want to make sure that it's nice and stretched out really good. Once you have that done, the next thing you want to do is go ahead and secure the stretch sequin. And I'm using the 3 strand, and if you notice, I folded down the ends to keep it from fraying or having like a fuzzy end to it. And I'm pinning it on the line that you see right here. I'm starting there, and then I'm going to pin all the way around. Now because I've only have some scraps of this size stretch sequin, I have to add to it. So that's what you see going on here. So I wouldn't suggest doing that yourself. More than likely, you will have enough to go all the way around without adding an additional piece. Then the next thing I'm going to do is take my 7/8 inch or 2-strand sequin and put it around the leg area. I typically don't like putting it around the leg area because sometimes it might make it a little tight around the thigh. However, just for the design's sake, I want to add it. So I'm adding that and pinning that in place so that it can be secured to be glued down. Now once you have that done, you want to make sure that you have everything pinned properly. And as you can see, towards the front, I added two, I don't want to say strands, but two things of stretch sequin to the front to add a little more design. So I pinned that in place. Then it's time to glue. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the ends and you're going to put a dab of hot glue, and then you're going to fold it over. Then you're going to put some more glue on top of the fold over part and glue it down. Now with the 3-strand sequin, you want to glue the hot glue between the lines, and then you want to kind of stretch it out as you are placing it onto the uniform, but not too much because you don't want too much tension to where it may pop off if a dancer tries it on. So I'm going to kind of speed up through this process, but you should take your time when doing this because you don't want to make a mistake. So everything's important because this is Gorilla Glue. This is a lot thicker, and the bond is a lot stronger than the regular hot glue gun. Now, I realized that I didn't add the fringe. Typically, you would add the fringe first before you add the sequin around the waist. However, I have a cool trick just in case you might have forgotten, like me, to add the fringe. First, I'm going to measure from side to side. I start at the line and go to the other line of the brief, and then I cut the amount that I need. I cut two pieces, and then I hot glue those together so that it can have some thickness. Now you can do three pieces. You can layer it, meaning one line and then one line. I'm sorry. Then you will go down a little further and do another line. But today we're just gonna keep it simple, and we're gonna do just one straight line across. So once you have that, you're going to put a safety pin, not a safety pin, a push pin in the middle so that way it will hold it in place. Then you're going to glue the bottom top part of it. You don't want to go to the very edge of it because the glue may leak out and then you'll have it spread out over your costume. Trust me, I have made this mistake several times, and I have learned that make sure that you put the glue towards the bottom of the top track. It's almost like gluing weave-in. So you want to make sure you take your time in doing that. Now once I have that done, I'm going to go back around with another layer of stretch sequin. So it's going to make it thicker in the back. I'm not doing it in the front, just in the back area, just so that you can cover up that track. And as you can see, I am finishing up the front. And those are your bottoms right there. Now we're going to move on to the top. I went ahead and pinned the top where the chest area is, the lower chest area, and the neckline. You do it the same way as the bottoms. You want to make sure that you fold the ends first, then you glue them accordingly. And I didn't mention before that with the smaller 2-strand, you want to glue that on the lines versus in the middle. I don't understand why it's like that, but I have noticed over the years that it's better to do the 2-strand that way and do the 3-strand in the middle of the lines. So now I'm stuffing my shirt again, and this way it will help it stretch out so that I will have some tension. Now you want to make sure when you glue your neckline that you don't glue the zipper, because that will be trouble. So make sure you glue on the outside of the zipper line. Now I'm going to grab my fringe again, and I'm going to add some fringe to the top. I am going to do a diagonal look. You can do it straight across, you can make a V. There are various ways you can do the top, but just to keep it simple, I am going to do diagonally. I am doing from end to end, basically finding the line at the top shoulder and the line on the sides as my start and stop point. Once again, I'm doing 2 pieces, as you can see, and I'm going to glue those 2 together to make it thicker. Now once you have those glued, you're going to use another push pin to hold those fringes in place, and then you're going to do the exact same thing as you did with the bottoms. You're going to glue slowly across or diagonally. Once you have done that, you can go ahead and add sequin to the top. I used the 2 strand because I didn't have a lot of the 3 strand left. Once you add that, it is time to add on the fringe on the arms. Now, if you're not comfortable with doing this, then you can leave it like that. But I want to show you guys how to do that. You're going to go through the back or unzip your top and slide the old t-shirts through the arm. That way it can stretch out the shirt. Then you're going to take 2 pieces again of the fringe and glue it together. Once you glue it together, then you're going to see the seam, and you're going to glue it along the seam. Make sure you glue it down on the bottom part of the track, not the ends of it where the fringe is hanging, but at the very top part there is like a track line, and you want to make sure that you glue the bottom part of that. After you do that, you want to make sure that it's in place. The arms can be very tricky because dancers' arms are different. Some have small arms, some have thicker arms, and so you want to make sure that you take your time and glue that. I also go back and recheck to make sure there aren't any bubbles or holes or spaces in between the fringes and the actual uniform. So I had to go back in some areas and re-glue it. And then I added the stretch sequin to the arms. Now for contrast, I added the 3 strand to, I believe it was the right side, and the 2 strand to the left side, making sure that I'm still stretching out that sequin. Now, if you wanted to add rhinestones, you could, but I decided not to because I wanted to keep it simple. As you can see, I have completed this, and I will add pictures of the uniform at the end. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel for more videos, and if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. Thank you.